Hello and welcome to this tutorial. Today I'm just going to quickly show you how you can make an enemy flash red by having an object hit it. I'm going to focus on making showing off how the bullets do it, but I'm also going to quickly show you how you can make other objects do it, for example with a player moving into it. So, hope you enjoy and have fun game deving. I've started off by setting up a simple scene featuring just our player character, the enemy which we're going to make flash red, as well as a background to help show it off. If you click play at the moment, I've made it so the player is able to move around, look around, and shoot out bullets. The bullets, however, do not make the enemy flash red, which is what we want to do. So what we're going to do to start off, on your bullets, assuming you're using bullets, if you're not using bullets, then just put it on the object you want. You're going to click on that, and you're going to make sure it definitely has a rigid body 2D component. And then you're also going to add on the physics 2D, you're going to add a box collider 2D. And if we just open up the prefab, and just make sure that collider is, where is it? There we go. Make sure that collider is the size of the bullet. If not, you'll have some weird collision issues when you are shooting out. So once it's done that, you're also going to make sure it's classed as is trigger. Now it's very important it's classed as is trigger, and it's also very important it's got the rigid body 2D components. The bullet movement script is just so it can move around, so you don't have to worry about that one. Now, what we're also going to do is go onto our zombie. And we're also going to add to the zombie a box collider component, except this one. That one, we're just going to edit it up a little bit so it's a bit more similar to what the zombie is looking like so. And we're also going to add a rigid body component as well, just because. It's more because sometimes it works without, sometimes it doesn't. But either way, you're going to want it, because logically in your game, you're going to want your zombie to move around. So I'm just having it in for now. With the box collider 2D on this component, however, we're not going to click on is trigger. This is because if you have two objects with is trigger, when they collide, it will run the code twice. So to put it into context, if you were meant to take health off the zombie when you shot him, it would take double health if the bullet and the zombie had the is trigger property selected. So once that's done, we're going to have to actually add in the code, which will make the bullet cause that to flash red. So right click here, click on create, and then go on C# script. And once it's done, just call it something like, I don't know, I'm just going to call it, one sec, I'm just going to call it enemy behavior. Or you know what, I'll just do enemy. I'm just going to do enemy. Very simple, because we know what it is. And then double click that to open up. Once it's loaded up, this is what you should see. Now earlier, as you recall, I mentioned saying if you're not using a bullet, put it on the objects I want. What I mean is, all the code we're going to do now still says, it will still stay on the zombie, and that'll be fine. But what you'll need to do is, if you're using a different object to cause the enemy to flash red, you're going to need to make sure that has a is trigger box collider on it as well, and the rigid body. And then there's going to be a little change as well. Anyway, back to you, assuming it's still a bullet. What we're going to do to start off is create a public variable to the sprite render. So it's going to be public sprite renderer, and I'm just going to call it sprite. Now we're going to use this because we need to reference the actual sprite component of the enemy. So we're going to keep that as public so we can just drag in. We're not going to need to use void start, so we're just going to delete that. And we're not going to even need to use void update. What we are going to do, however, is just create for now a public IE enumerator. That should be a capital E, IE enumerator. And I'm just going to call it flash red. Now it will say that needs to be public, not public. And it will still say it's wrong. That's because for now we just need to put in a yield return new wait for seconds, and then I'm just going seconds with a D, and I'm just going to put 1. Now to quickly explain what this is, and that should change to be good. It will change, do not worry. But yeah, what these IE enumerators are basically, there we go, it's a lowercase n. But yeah, what these are special functions you can have inside of your code which allow you to stop in between. So whilst the rest of the code's running, you can call this, and you can have it do something, then wait a little bit, and then do something else. So to show it off, what we're going to do is, for this flash red, we're simply going to set the sprite. We're going to make a reference to the sprite renderer. Already got that, so we're going to access it, and we're going to go sprites.sprite equals, one sec, my head just went. Yeah, it's not sprite.sprite because it's sprite.color. I always make that mistake, but yeah, sprite.color equals capital C color dot red. And that's very it. So that simply gets your sprite renderer component and it sets its color to be color.red. There's also loads of different colors you can do. You can just do dot, You've got like magenta, white, yellow, blue, all of them. But I'm showing you how to do red. And then we're going to have it turn to red. Then after a second, we're going to do sprite dot color equals color dot white. If I spell it right, I'm awful at spelling today. But yeah, now you may be asking, won't I just change my sprite to be white? No, because it doesn't change all the color. What it does is more like a color overlay. So when you do color.white, that means we have no color overlay over your sprite, so your sprite just looks like it is normal. Whereas with red, it adds a red hue and tinge to every single color on it. So yeah, so once this is called, it sets it to red, waits 1 second, and then changes it to white. 1 second's a bit too long since it needs to be a flash, so I'm just going to do 0.1. It doesn't work like that because seconds are integers and 0.1 isn't an integer, so you're just going to put F, and it's going to say we're not using a float, which can have the period, it can be a decimal number. Now this isn't going to work on its own. What we need to do is create a public void on trigger enter 2D. Why did it put space there? Public void on trigger enter 2D, and then inside of that you're going to need to do collider 2D, and then you're just going to call that other. So this is another type of function which only runs when the object which the script is attached to, when that collider runs into a collider which has the trigger component selected, and then collider 2Ds. This bit here, the collider 2D and other, says that it needs to actually find out what that collider. So once it triggers it, it looks for a collider it's interacted with. What we're going to do is put if other, so getting the collider of the other object, and then we're going to say, yep, if other.game object. So once we've found that collider, we find the game object attached to it, and then we're going to do .tag, because every object can have a tag, and if that tag equals, we'll say bullet, then we know that we want to run this, we want to flash red, because we know we've hit a bullet. There we go. So yeah, so basically what this means, if the other object we've collided with has a tag bullet, then it will run this. However, it's an IE enumerator, so you actually have to do a little extra step, and you can't just call the function, you've got to do start coroutine, and then you need to have that in the brackets. And there you go. Now the reason why we made sure it was bullet, because if you didn't have this if checking if it's a bullet, it would mean every time it ran into something which was a trigger, it would flash red, and that's not useful. Once that's saved, we're going to head back to Unity to carry on. Back in Unity, you'll see if we click on our enemy scripts, we've now got all the nice cheeky code we just added in. So what we're going to do, we're going to check our bullets prefab, and I'm going to make sure that tag has a new tag, which is bullet. So there we go. So once you've added the new tag in bullet, you're going to make sure you go back and actually tag it, because you just have to. It's something that Unity makes you do. Once it's tagged, we are going to, I believe that, yeah, that's actually it. So we're going to hit, oh, it's not it, because I was an idiot and I did not actually drag the enemy scripts onto, where is it? There we go, onto the zombie. Once the enemy script's on, just going to minimize that, just simply, wait, yeah, make sure gravity is 0 on the rigid body or else it will fall down. Once the enemy script is on, just drag the sprite renderer component onto the enemy and then hit play. And then once it plays, if you shoot your enemy, it will flash red. And there you go. And that's how to make your enemies flash red when they take damage. To quickly show off what I mean about you can use anything, it's the same script. I will quickly go to my player, and on the player I will add once again a box collider 2D, and I'm just going to quickly edit that one just so it's a bit nicer. Oh, where's it go? Edit collider, and just drag that to make it a little bit nicer, and then I'm going to not add in bullet player, I'm going to add in the tag bullet just to show I didn't make it a trigger. Now it's a trigger. This is just to show that the code works as well. As long as you've got the tag and the object has the thing trigger. If I touch him with my collider, he now also flashes red, as well as the bullets. So yeah, I hope that helped out, and if it did, please comment away, or if you want any further knowledge or little bits of things explaining, happily comment away and I will answer every single question. Hope you enjoyed the video, and that's about it. So I'm going to quickly just show off, as I leave now, I'm going to show off my trailer for a game I actually made. So yeah, I made this game, Crisis Arcana, and it's actually coming out in a couple of days, Friday the 18th, and it's going to be available on Steam. If it's your interest or your fancy, please give it a check, I'll appreciate all of it. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope the video, once again, hope the video enjoyed, and I hope to see you maybe next time. Leave a like or subscribe for all these crazy other tutorials which are coming out, and God knows what else, to be honest. Just got a lot of free time at the moment, so I'm just spreading my little bits of knowledge. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all next time. Bye!